What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Kirk Franklin, if you guys remember him from the early mid-90s, is a gospel composer from the great city of Dallas, Texas. Now, at the time that Kirk Franklin came out to the gospel world, it was right after, because the Clark sisters came out in the late 70s, early 80s. He was a part of that, with Ty Tribbett and those guys, contemporary gospel during the 90s, which was looked at in many ways as negative, right? A lot of people from the traditional church sound did not like Kirk Franklin. They did not like his stomp and, different renditions of what was going on. There were women throwing panties at him and stuff at concerts. But the biggest problem with Kirk Franklin, despite being a talented gospel composer, is that as a young musician, he had a child out of wedlock. And this child is Kerrion Franklin. Now, this is still in the 80s. So at that time, going to church, it was still very conservative. You cannot really be openly gay and play in church. Okay, so I'm just giving you an example like you can most likely now. It was a don't ask, don't tell policy at that time. But one thing that will always get you into trouble for anybody in the ministry of music is having a child. Preachers who have a child have been taken out of their office. So for Kirk Franklin, that one thing has been a blemish on his gospel music record. And that one child has always come back to bite him. He's never had any public problems that I've seen with other children. But Kerrion Franklin is a problem child. So Kirk Franklin didn't marry his mother. He married someone else. Kerrion has always, kind of castigated Kirk Franklin and released recordings of their relationship. I think Kirk Franklin slapped him at one point and they had problems. And then now Kerrion Franklin, and there was rumors that Kirk Franklin might be gay, but it is now confirmed that Kerrion Franklin is now on this reality show, which is called Bad Boys. And I believe that show is more or less for black men or LGBT. He is now officially bisexual. So everything that Kirk Franklin stood for in his gospel life, Kerrion Franklin ended up becoming the exact opposite. Outside of being problematic, and then this is lifestyles coming out here. But not only that, Kerrion Franklin is in some serious trouble. And this trouble is regarding the fact that he was driving a stolen car with a gun in the car of a lady who apparently is missing. In other words, she could be dead. All right. And he has been driving around in this car. All right. Now, how do we get to this point? And again, a lot of people are okay with single parenting and not having, kids in the house. But what Kerrion Franklin is always accused is that his dad abandoned him. His parents abandoned him. Okay. And both parents deny that. But obviously the Kerrion, he looked at the relationships that Kirk Franklin has with his other kids. And then he says, well, I don't have those issues. Why didn't y'all look out for me as you did for the others? Now, Kirk Franklin said he's done everything he could for the guy. He's paid for schooling and done things. And Kerrion Franklin has, despite with all having everything, turned out to be nothing. But what we're realizing, guys, is that, it's the same thing with Floyd Mayweather's daughter. These young black people, they're so damaged with part-time fathers. Okay? This is what happens with our people. Part-time fatherhood is killing our people. And these guys go out, for the rest of their life, some of them, they come out, whether they have changes in their sexuality that deviates from the norm for whatever reason, or these young men come out and have anger towards the father, or they go out there and become a menace to society. We see it all the time. It's not even about, being bisexual or anything like that. Look at the guys on the streets. They feel like nobody didn't love them, so they become Crips, or they become Bloods, or they rob and they hurt people in the community. And now Kerrion Franklin, who's almost going to jail for what we think is a possible murder, despite having things going for them, despite having positive things going for him. And this is a guy that Kirk Franklin tried to do the best he could, but that one blemish has always stressed him. It's something people in the church have always thrown out against him. He went and got married. He did it the right way. He pushed God the right way. But look at what happened here. That one mistake of not being in your child's life. This is what happened. And I want to talk to guys about this. Before you make a mistake and have a kid and have a child that you cannot fully raise, understanding that your part-time fathership is an impact. And most kids cannot become the kids they're supposed to be with a weekend or a part-time dad. I'm sorry. And some of this happens through no fault of your own. I understand many men want to be full-time dads and have their kids, and the mama is out there tripping. I get it. I understand it. You will never get anything different from me on that. Okay. But what I'm saying here is that this is a problem. It is a fundamental problem. Okay. It is a big problem. And many young black men under the sound of my voice right now that have kids are seeing their kids going in a wary way, and they can do nothing about it. You can throw money at it. You can throw anything else at it, education at it. But if that child somehow feels that you cheated another set of kids, a lot of times they don't want to hear the fact that, well, I wasn't there because mama didn't want me there. No, all they care about is you wasn't there. And so they go out there and ruin their life and yours in the process. And this, in my opinion, is exactly what is happening with Kerrion Franklin. Okay? The guy is out of control. He is the complete opposite of what his dad was, which makes sense because of a different environment. But there's so many black men like him. Black men who get involved in drugs. Black men who get involved in gangs. Black men who get involved in all the other things that they should never do, but they do it because they feel like don't nobody care. And then it becomes the father against the son. He could just be a problem child. But it happens when there is a lack of stability there. And I don't think anybody gonna sit here and tell me that that's not the problem. It is a problem. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. Check out the first comment pinned to the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at all-time high. I'm out.